Welcome to the second part of my Monster Hunter Rise idea series. If you haven't watched the first part, I would advise you to go to it first, though it isn't necessary since the monsters we'll be looking at today are unrelated. But if you need a summary, all the new monsters in Monster Hunter Rise are based on Yokai, so we'll be designing monsters based on Yokai as well. We'll be doing 5 more monsters today, and we'll do 5 more next time, and 5 more after that, so please subscribe to see the video when they go up. Now let's get right into the monsters, shall we? Baku. The Baku is a chimera with the head of an elephant, the body of a bear, the eyes of a rhino, the tail of an ox, and the legs of a tiger. It is famous for eating dreams, specifically bad dreams, and therefore the Baku is regarded as the protector of the people and the symbol of good luck. The word Baku is also used to describe the tapir due to its resemblance or perhaps inspiration to the yokai. So of course we are also gonna base this monster off the tapir, though with aspects of the Javan rhino and the Platybelodon extinct elephant, since I feel the Platybelodon also fits the bill for the yokai Baku. Obviously, this would be our sleep element monster. It chews sleeping gas from underneath its shell the same way Basiros and Gravios does, but since sleep is this monster's whole deal, the range would also be considerably wider. And since we have the thing about dream eating going on, I think it should also have a special move it does on sleeping targets. But since it is an herbivore and is eating dreams and not your health, it shouldn't be direct HP damage. So I think it should be that it eats away your stamina bar. At lower rank it takes away 1 bar, so it's only a ration's worth. But on high rank it might bring you down to just 1 bar above red. And if you have the dash juice effects on, it also cuts that too. So it's definitely gonna be the bitch to fight for hammer and dual swords users. It lives in the shrine ruins and flooded forests, and can be either 3-star or 4 stars. Onamasu. Onamasu, or just Namasu, meaning either big catfish or just catfish, is a giant catfish yokai that causes earthquakes. It is trapped under the islands of Japan and is guarded by the thunder god Takemikatsuchi, who pins it down with a stone, and when Takemikatsuchi let his guard down, the Onamasu thrashed about, causing an earthquake. The myth probably originated from the notion that people in ancient times recognized that catfish can sense tremors and warn them of incoming earthquakes. Like the myth of a carp jumping over a waterfall to become a dragon, the Onamasu is sometimes cited as being born when a mundane catfish jumps over a waterfall and attains dragon status. Ironically though, despite being the one to cause the earthquakes, the Onamasu is also worshipped as the avenger of social equality, as it is a common art motif that the earthquake caused by the catfish would scatter the gold coins from the pocket of the rich, allowing the poor to pick them up. So the Onamasu can also represent the redistribution of wealth. This very style of art is called the Namasue, or the catfish prince. We can totally use an Onamasu in this modern society, don't you think? As a monster, I feel this should be the 6-star version monster that can use either Tetsukabra or Dodogama skeleton, with concepts of Gobble, nipple snarf being thrown in, the monster itself being as large as a Plesioth. Obviously, this is a monster whose whole gimmick revolves around quakes. Most of its attacks are shared with Tetsukabra and Dodogama, being belly flops to create earthquake, but at a much larger scale. If it does this on solid ground, it could cause the groundwater to erupt into geysers, attacking the hunters. If it does this in the lava caverns, it will cause magma to erupt instead. And similar to Tetsukabra, it can also pull up a huge boulder from the ground and hold it in its mouth, swinging it around to smash the hunters with, but after a while, the Onamasu will gulp that whole boulder into its mouth, chew it up and blast it back out like a shotgun. Its large whiskers can be used to whip and lash at enemies like tentacles. When charging, these whiskers would motion to try and reach for the enemies to shove into its open mouth. It lives in the sandy plains, flooded forests, and lava caverns. Gyuki and or Tsujikumo. The Gyuki alternatively read as Wushioni, is a giant brutal monster with the head of an ox and a spider or crab-like body, known for attacking and eating people, and just the mere encounter with it can bring sickness. It has several abilities varying from story to story, from locking a person in eye contact with it, allowing it to drain their soul, to the ability to survive even when dissected into pieces, to collaborating with another yokai, the Nure Onna, which would trick a traveler into holding her baby, who would become heavy like stone and locking the person in place, giving the Gyuki the chance to attack and eat them. Alternatively, the Tsujigumo is another giant spider monster with the face of an oni and the body of a tiger that attacks and eats people. It is also known to be able to take various shapes of people and animals to trick its victims. Its ability to shapeshift into a woman to lure in its prey to eat also draw parallels to the Jorogumo, or the horse spider, which is the inspiration to Rakna Kadaki. It is most known in the tales of the Heike, as the monster slain by Minamoto no Yorimitsu. In this case, we'll be conceptualizing the Gyuki as the male counterpart to the Rakna Kadaki. It has the same skeleton but with a larger horned head and front legs with finger-like appendages to emphasize it being more of a physical attacker. Its body covered in fur like the tarantula to also give more of the bull image of the Gyuki or the tiger image of the Tsujigumo. Unlike the Rakna Kadaki, it doesn't have any fire attacks and incorporates its web more in its physical attacks, such as cover its arms in webs which it then can cast around in a wide area, or to grapple onto rocks which it then can use as flails, or to create trapdoor to flip the ground below the hunter. And when I drew the front legs with the fingers, it came to me to also give it a kabuki theme similar to how Tetranodon is a sumo themed kappa. To reflect the relationship between the Gyuki and the Nure Onna, it also carries around the arachnoid offspring which it can use for grappling, similar to how Rakna Kadaki used them, though it cannot spawn more than what it started with. Like Rakna Kadaki, it is 7 stars that live in the lava caverns and sandy plains, and maybe also flooded forest. Shinkiro. Now we're going into the endgame Elder Dragons now. Starting with the Shinkiro, which is the clam dragon that can create mirage and illusions. Oftentimes creating mirage islands and sometimes cities to sailors out at seas. Its appearance may vary. Sometimes it's literally just a clam, sometimes it's a dragon inside a clam, sometimes it's linked to the Jiaolong of Chinese mythology, which is a crocodilian dragon that caused floods. Little is known about it despite the fact that it's so integral to the classical tradition that it has its own dedicated kanji, as well as Shinkiro being the common word for mirage. As a monster, I think it should be a dragon-clam hybrid with transparent tentacles, kinda like a shuckle. It cannot run and moves very slowly, and will primarily travel underground. I mixed an element of several mollusks to form the shell. The head with the long neck isn't a real head, but rather a tongue which it raised to use to taste the air and locate stuff like how snakes and catfish do. Because its whole gimmick is fog, so it wouldn't make much sense for the Shinkiro itself to have functional eyes. The real mouth is the beak on the back. It can be spotted creating thick fog around the area, though once you entered into the fog, everything will be shown as silhouettes and the main problem will be trying to locate the Shinkiro's main body while the tentacles attack you. The tentacles will be disguised as other monsters coming out of the fog to attack, but only a certain part has an actual hitbox which can land an attack on you and you on it. Say if the tentacles take the shape of an Anjanath, only the head is hiding the actual tentacle, so attacking any other parts will go right through, but it also can't use anything but the head to attack. Once you land an attack on the tentacle, the illusion will fade and reveal its true shape. There are 3 of these tentacles, so it can create 3 illusion monsters at once. Once all the tentacles are broken, the Shinkiro will lose its illusion ability and its fog will become much thinner. Regardless of whether you actually engage with the tentacles, once the main body is found, the Shinkiro will fight head-on for a bit while barely moving from its position, before it blasts its fog at the hunters to knock them away, digs into the ground to go to some other area, and repeat the whole process all over again. It lives on the watery zones of the Frost Islands and lava caverns, and is 7 stars. Magekujira. The Magekujira, or ghost whale, is, as the name says, it is an animated whale skeleton that appears accompanied by strange birds and fish. At the near whaling village as in the old days, up to World War II, whales were commonly hunted by the people. A single whale can bring prosperity to the village through the meat and oil. Because of this, the ghosts of the hunted whales return as Magekujira to take revenge on the humans. Those who witness it will be inflicted with a curse, which would spread to others if they are to return to the village, wiping it all out. As a monster, I make it to be a Rampage mode exclusive boss. Like one combined with Lao Shanlong or Seideu's quest, where you fight it down a long corridor with multiple gates it has to break through until it can get to the fortress. As a vengeful spirit, the lore can say that it actually appeared in the last Rampage 50 years ago, and was supposedly killed by the village chief himself. Only that, to the surprise of everyone, it managed to return this time, its grudge multiplying its power. I deem it as a ghost aircraft carrier. The Magekujira will fly down the path and you can climb on top of it to attack it, while it won't attack you directly at first, just making flailing motions to try and shake you off. It will also rain down water from its underside, passively inflicting water blight to those below. But as the aircraft carrier, the Magekujira actually carries a whole horde of small monsters on its back, which will attack you. These will be monsters exclusive to this quest, which I also based them off Yokais. The first one is the Amikiri, the flying shrimp-like yokai known to fly around and cut nets, be it fishing net or mosquito nets. They will be the fighter planes to the aircraft carrier, being launched from the Magekujira's back to come down and attack. And then there's the Sasae Oni, or the turban snail ogre. As a yokai, they are turban snails that gain magical powers and human intellect when surviving to be 30 years old. As a monster, they serve as the turrets at the carrier's back, shooting at the hunters both on and off the Magekujira's back with water shots. There are also tons more of them stored inside the Magekujira's mouth. Then finally, we have the Senator acting as the infantry. And of course, since it's the Rampage mode, the other boss monsters marching below will also still be around, so this might be a good opportunity to make this a quest where you can bring 8 hunters, since it's gonna be very chaotic. The Magekujira can also unleash a whale song, which turns the monsters around it suicidal, causing them to attack more recklessly, or in case of the lesser monsters, literally cause them to kamikaze on the hunters. Of course, this is to reflect the actual kamikaze tactic ordered by the commander, which is the aircraft carrier. Lore-wise, we could say this is the Magekujira song, which invites death. And like Lao Shanlong, the Magekujira will start fully attacking only when it runs into a barricade. Its attack includes tackling, tail strike, and opening its mouth to reveal a whole swarm of the Sasae Oni inside, which will fire a salvo like a machine gun. When coming to the final area, the Magekujira will become far more aggressive as it starts to target the hunter, and can fight like Seideu's only if in the air. In this final phase, all of its attack will also unleash splashes and waves of water, increasing their hitbox, and also has an additional water blight effect. And when it uses the whale song attack, it will also give poison-like big HP draining effect on any water blighted hunters, reflecting the Magekujira's curse. Alright, that's 5 down for today. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you like idea videos like these, I have 2 other series, one pitching stories of my own novels, and one novel premise free giveaway, so please check them out if you are interested. Or if you are interested in seeing the 5 monsters next time. Please check out the previous video if you hadn't already done so, and please also check out my series on why light novels are stereotypically bad, how this is damaging to the anime industry, and what we can do to change it. Thank you for watching, and let's meet again.